This is the story of how a single lie could destroy lives. Kayla appears to be a normal teenage girl, but she's keeping a very dark secret. This secret would eventually lead her family into a downward spiral of deceit and devastation. Let's witness how it innocently begins and how it tragically ends. Kayla sits at the back of the car with her mom, Rebecca, driving, accompanied by her new boyfriend. After dropping him off at the airport, Rebecca then drops Kayla off with her dad, Jay. There are clear signs that Kayla is affected by her parents' separation. After a short while, Jay drives off to take Kayla to her ballet camp. But Kayla spots her friend Brittany waiting at a bus stop and excitedly calls out to her. Brittany is also on her way to camp, so she decides to hitch a ride with the two. During the drive, Brittany kept staring at Jay and even complimented the music, which is from Jay's band. They talked for a bit, which made Kayla visibly jealous, so she comments on Brittany's bruise. But after a while, Brittany pleads for Jay to pull over so she can find a place to pee. The two girls go off to do their business while Jay waits by the car. Since they've been gone for a while, Jay decides to find the girls. Suddenly, he hears a scream and finds Kayla sitting dangerously by the bridge. Jay breathlessly asks Kayla where Brittany is, but Kayla tells him that she accidentally fell over while they were playing. He goes into full panic mode and scrambles to look for Brittany. When he can't find her, Jay returns to the car and demands to use Kayla's phone to call her friend. Kayla then tearfully confesses that she intentionally pushed Brittany down the bridge because she's been awful to her. A truck drives by and forced the two to hide a bit. With no other options left, he drives away from the scene. He immediately drives back to Rebecca's office where she works as a lawyer, but he couldn't tell her what happened. Rebecca gets upset since he didn't end up taking Kayla to the ballet camp, so she goes on to confront her, but Kayla panics since she lost her inhaler. They then decide to take her back to her mother's place. Rebecca then talks to Kayla in private, where she finally admits what she has done, and this has left her dumbfounded. The parents start to form a strategy on what to do moving forward, but Kayla sneakily asks Jay if he finds Brittany pretty, to which he ignores. Jay strongly insists for them to get a good defense lawyer, but Rebecca reprimanded him for leaving the scene and not calling the cops. But Jay will do anything to protect his daughter. Rebecca tells him that the city prosecutor is ruthless and will try Kayla as an adult even though she's only 15 years old. And since they were arguing before Brittany was pushed, Kayla could be charged with second-degree murder. Jay argues that it's accidental, but Rebecca reminds him that Kayla admits to intentionally doing it. Rebecca was concerned about witnesses, and Jay mentioned the truck that passed by but assures her that they weren't seen. They end their discussion by committing to keeping quiet and doing nothing. The next day, Rebecca wakes up from a terrible nightmare, and all the while Kayla acts as if nothing has happened. Jay arrives shortly and they both talk about this, but he assures her that Kayla only acts that way since she's in shock. They both start arguing loudly, but Kayla can hear them from the inside. This upsets her a great deal, so she marches out of the house, but her parents drags her back in the house screaming. Kayla then tells her father that she did it for him, to protect him from Brittany. This makes Jay furious and he shoves her and instantly regrets it. A short while later, Sam, who is Brittany's father, visits Rebecca asking if she has seen his daughter. He also explains that he got into a fight with Brittany earlier and she slipped and fell, that's why she has a bruise on her face. So he wants to talk to Kayla if she knows anything, but Rebecca lies and tells him that Kayla was sick and didn't end up going to ballet camp. Jay took Kayla to see the doctor and she's not at home. Sam eventually leaves and Rebecca breaks down from all the guilt she kept inside. She was so distraught that she also calls Jay, but he didn't pick up. She then goes to see Kayla and instructs her to call Sam and tells him that she missed camp because she got sick, but Kayla blatantly ignores her mother. Then the two notice a presence outside their home and they're scared to see who it is, but it's only Jay. Rebecca unloads everything, and Jay was particularly interested in Sam and Brittany's fight, but Rebecca has no further information about it. Jay suggests for Kayla to isolate herself in a hotel first for a couple of days just so she can settle down and get their stories straight. The two start packing stuff into their car when Sam appears out of nowhere, again asking if he could talk to Kayla. They tell him that Kayla is still in the hospital just in time for Sam to see Kayla step out of the house. This confuses Sam, of course, and demands to know what's going on and starts aggressively asking Kayla. Jay tries to stop him and gets accidentally punched, so Sam has no choice but to leave for now, but not before threatening to let police know. The two go back in the house so Rebecca can tend to Jay's injury and the two bond for a little bit. Jay then formulates an idea that they can frame Sam for Brittany's disappearance. Rebecca used to work as a prosecutor, so she visits her friend Detective Kenji and subtly drops the hint that Brittany has been missing for a day now and that Sam has been acting strangely. But Rebecca switches tact and bluntly tells the detective that she thinks Sam is abusing his daughter. Later that evening, Detective Kenji visits Kayla to learn more about Brittany's abuse. Under the watchful eye of Rebecca, the detective starts questioning Kayla about her relationship with Brittany. Brittany and Kayla had been close friends and also lived close together. But when the detective asks about what's Brittany's relationship with her dad is like, Kayla takes a moment, then tearfully replied that Sam physically abuses Brittany a lot. Both Rebecca and Jay appear satisfied with that answer. Detective Kenji has heard enough and excuses herself, but not before asking how Rebecca is dealing with her divorce from Jay since he's home a lot, but she just brushes it off. The next day, the detective visits Sam and confronts him about allegation about him hitting his daughter. Sam strongly denies these and asks them to instead focus on looking for his missing daughter. At Kayla's household, Jay was rudely woken up, but Rebecca invited him to stay at her house while she's at work. But Jay instead heads off to his place and takes Kayla with her for band practice. Jay's new girlfriend, Trini, talks to him in private and asks him about a pink purse she found on his car. Jay insists that it's Kayla's and demands to have it. When he finally came out, he learns that Kayla has left the building. Detective Kenji then visits Rebecca to tell her what they learned about Sam. They're starting to have doubts about Kayla's story since Sam's neighbors and everyone else reported that he's a peaceful man. They also tell Rebecca that they're looking for Brittany's phone since they thought that it was lost the day she went missing, but it got active again in the downtown area where Jay coincidentally also lives. Rebecca excuses herself to get away from the pressure. Kayla is walking home when Sam finally catches up to her. He demands to know what happened to Brittany, and all Kayla could reply is that she's sorry and she didn't mean for it to go this far. Sam presses on, which sends Kayla over the edge. She escapes to her house, but Sam follows her all the way there. Kayla barely manages to catch her breath and hide until the coast is clear. Rebecca eventually gets home, as well as Jay, and she unloads on him for not keeping a close eye on Kayla. They both begin to fight, which causes Kayla to get distressed and break down again. And right on time, Detective Kenji is at their door again. Apparently, she and her partner investigated the bus stop where Brittany was last seen. They ask Jay if he ever made a stop there and also if he was at the bridge at all. Jay strongly confirms that he didn't stop there at all, while Rebecca reminded the detectives again that they should be arresting Brittany's dad. This is where the detective drops a bombshell. Kayla and Brittany recently had a fight over a boy. Brittany tried to steal Kayla's boyfriend, so Kayla sends her a very hostile email threatening to kill her. But they all agree that it's just teenagers being teenagers. Suddenly, Detective Kenji becomes serious and asks one final time if Kayla was at the bridge that day. Both parents again denies this. The detective casually brings out Kayla's inhaler, and this time, Jay and Rebecca are speechless. They tell them both that the K9 unit are already searching the area as they speak. Backed into a corner, Rebecca demands the detectives to leave. Rebecca and Jay now both face the realization that all of them could be arrested. So that night, after tucking Kayla in bed, the two leave to do something sinister. They drive to Sam's house, planning to bury Brittany's purse in his property. Rebecca is the lookout while Jay breaks into Sam's yard to plant the evidence. But the lights went out and they panic a bit since they thought that Sam wasn't at home. Rebecca gets out to get a closer look, but then Sam appeared out of nowhere and wouldn't let her leave. He again asked where his daughter is, and Rebecca can do nothing but scream for Jay. Jay immediately runs over and tackles Sam. Sam tells them that he knows that Kayla was the reason Brittany is missing and to stop protecting their daughter. The two leave quickly, but as Sam suddenly appears in front of them intending to stop them. Rebecca speeds up instead of stopping and runs him over. They both get off to check, but Sam was still a bit barely alive. Instead of helping him, the two just wait for him to die. They both return home and slept on the couch. Neither wanted to leave the other, and both sharing in the guilt. The next day, Kayla is as chirpy as ever while her parents look haggard and upset. After breakfast, they both start cleaning the blood off the car. Suddenly they hear a knock and someone comes in. To their shock, it was none other than Brittany herself, asking where Kayla is. She explained that she ended up going with her boyfriend and that Kayla was just going along with the prank. She didn't mean for it to go this long. But Rebecca and Jay remained quiet with burning hostility in their eyes. Brittany is starting to get scared, especially when she sees the blood. But Rebecca gently tells her to go home. They both face Kayla and she realizes that her lie was up. She stammers and blames Brittany, telling them that it was her idea. Kayla was planning on telling the truth earlier, but she noticed that her parents are starting to get close to each other. That is why she didn't. She just wanted more time with both of her parents together, hoping that they will rekindle their romance. They all embrace each other as police pound on their door, with the distant sounds of sirens getting ever closer. We've now reached the end of the story. Kayla's prank has been nothing short of extreme, brought about by her parents' divorce. But what would you do if your child has committed a crime? And how far would you go? Thank you for staying with us, and I'll see you in the next one.